So I have some news coming out of my hometown of Pendleton that I think should be touched upon. This is in coordination with education and how we should go about treating our teachers, how states should treat their teachers. The East Oregonian reports Pendleton teacher faces third bout with cancer with grace. Now, a little disclaimer here. I have had her as my Spanish teacher for 3 years in a row. And she is one of the most stupendous type teachers of all time for me. She not only had survived 2 bouts of cancer, but now she's facing a third. And I just want to take a moment to talk about her real quick. She is one of the most loving and deserving persons I could ever see. She takes the time and necessary actions to make sure that people in her class do pass. You know, she takes the time to get materials ready for the class ahead. She makes sure that she's always there every time. And in fact, she also runs the student organization there for foreign language. And every year, she and Mrs. Albright, who teaches French at my old high school, they would go to University of Oregon here, and they would have a foreign language convention, which is a really cool thing, especially if you were in a foreign language class, you know, and all you would have to pay was like, what, $10, and the rest was taken care of by grants. And so there's actually some students now who are petitioning to get her on Ellen. So I'm going to read the article here. Catherine Youngman students are working to get their beloved teacher onto Ellen. Catherine Youngman treats her third bout with cancer as she would a mean playground bully who regularly shoves her to the ground and steals her lunch money. Those who know the Pendleton High School Spanish teachers say Youngman concedes no power to the bully. She deals with the tyrant, which she must, and quickly switches her focus to things that matter more: her family, her students, and her faith. Now, on the topics of faith, I have no problems with people having faith. You know, I'm not religious, but you know, if it's used to get her by you know, this time of trouble and need, you know, I can understand it. I can understand it because it gives her hope. And you know, and I'm all about freedom of religion in that sort of aspect. On a recent day, the veteran teacher worked her Pendleton High School classroom with the precise timing of a Vegas comedian or Fortune 500 CEO. She wandered among the students, firing questions and instructions. Turn to your partner and ask, "Are you hungry?" Senora Youngman directed. Answer in a complete sentence. The volume in the room rose and fell. Youngman plunged back into the fast-paced dialogue with her students. They dared not daydream, lest they be left in their teacher's wake. Their eyes followed the constantly moving Youngman with the concentration of a tennis crowd watching the ball at Wimbledon. Though her style is fast and furious, her students say she is kind and inspirational. If someone falls behind or fails a test, Youngman spends time encouraging and coaching the student. She stands at the doorway before each class, greeting pupils as they enter and taking the effort to know them personally. She posts a fresh motivational quote in the classroom each day. Now, I'm going to pause here real quick. I want to comment on this. She is, by far, again, one of the most inspirational teachers of all time. And, in fact, she even inspired her own son to go into Spanish and to go be a Spanish teacher. You know, and he's going to Blue Mountain Community College right now to do the thing that her mother has done. And if you could get your son to do the things that you have aspired to do yourself, that you've technically achieved. Her students know all about the cancer. They realize Youngman's strawberry blonde hair with wispy bangs and a wig that covers her head bare with multiple rounds of chemo. Her older students traveled down this road with their teacher 2 years ago when a tumor was discovered in her sinuses. This time, it popped up as breast cancer. So a little bit of a background on on her cancer. She was diagnosed with Hodgkin's disease first. And the last 2 times it's been Hodgkin's disease, and now it's being popped up as breast cancer, which in both cases is really disheartening and really sad to hear about. But I'm glad that she is fighting her way through it. When Yeoman learned she would face yet another cancer battle, she gently informed her class. Senior Cheyenne Carey admitted she started crying a little as Yeoman broke the news around Thanksgiving and assured students that she believed the stage 2 cancer could be defeated. So it's stage 2, which could have a possibility of death, but at least it's not stage 4, where it's completely terminal. And we want to hope that it doesn't get to stage 4. She said, "I'm fine with this," Carrie said. She told us not to worry. The teenagers are trying, but it's tough, knowing what they could lose. Quote, "We experienced her last cancer our sophomore year. This time it's hit a lot harder." Riley Haggerty said of himself that the rest of the seniors, "She doesn't make a big deal about it, but we're very concerned for her." The veteran teacher travels to the Tri-Cities Cancer Center every other Monday for chemotherapy, which is, from Pendleton, it's about an hour and a half away each time. Radiation will follow. The treatments make her nauseated, dizzy, and weak. A group of students hope to raise money to pay for the uninsured portion of Youngman's expensive treatments and medication, and maybe help her realize a dream. So I'm going to pause here. I really admire what the students are doing here. You know, I remember last year we did the same thing for her when she was fighting the second bout. And we, during our canned food drive and our other stuff, portions that were made during these drives would go towards Mrs. Youngman, and I think we awarded her with $13,000, and it was really extraordinary. And I want to point out something here. If a teacher like this can get this much attention, why don't we see more of these types of teachers? I mean, think about it. I don't know if you guys had teachers who were a big inspiration to you, but this one is definitely the most inspirational out of our school, and I'll keep saying it's inspirational because it's true. It really is true, and I grew up being as her student, and she is one of the most breathtaking teachers I've ever seen, and she goes far above and beyond the course material work that is allowed, you know, and she also teaches college classes as well during the night, and so she's very dedicated to education. If we had the same respect that we give to, say, just this teacher, then we would have more successful teachers, I believe. So we're going to continue here. A group of students, she's a big fan of Ellen DeGeneres, says Katie Monticello, who substitutes for Youngman on treatment days. One of her wishes is to meet her. We're making a video to get Ellen's attention. The video will feature a narrative and shots of students, each holding a sign with one word describing Youngman. The NBC show occasionally honors inspiring teachers. In addition, Monticello, also Youngman's niece, set up a Go Get funding account at gogetfunding.com to raise money. The campaign is titled "Help Mrs. Youngman Fight Her Battle." So if you want to go donate to her cause, that would be very much appreciated. I'm going to go donate some money to that after I'm done making this video. The ongoing cancer battle is only Youngman's latest physical challenge. Youngman's mother, Mary Grosshog, said Catherine's life started in dramatic fashion. The family lived in Mackenzie Bridge in the Oregon Cascades when Grosshog went into labor. A sheriff's deputy transported her the 50 miles to the hospital in Springfield. A construction delay slowed the journey, and the vehicle later broke down and had to be towed. She was born 3 minutes after we got to the hospital parking lot. Dean and Mary's girl attacked life, they said. She got good grades, competed tenaciously in athletics, and faced challenges with a dry sense of humor. At age 10, Catherine almost died of a burst appendix. At 27, a tangerine-sized lump was removed from behind her breastplate. The powerful chemo treatments for Hodgkin's disease burned Youngman's veins, damaged her hips, which eventually had to be replaced, and made her infertile. Youngman, however, gave birth to twins several years later thanks to in vitro fertilization using eggs given by her sister Rebecca Barlow and sperm from Catherine's husband Jim. Youngman's second bout with cancer came in 2013, requiring chemo and radiation treatments to destroy a tumor located in her sinus cavity. A mask covered her head and chest during radiation treatments. They screwed the mask to the table. It was claustrophobic, Marie said. It was hard. She steeled herself for that. Youngman said she survives by focusing on the positive, which is good. A Mother Teresa quote she keeps on her desk sums up her attitude. Spread love everywhere you go. Let no one ever come to you without leaving happier. In her darkest moments, she said, I remind myself that 30 or 40 years ago, I wouldn't be alive. I remind myself to be grateful for what I have, rather than resentful for what I don't have. Youngman said she doesn't fear death. I don't want to die. I'm not ready to die, she said. But if I had to die, I hope to accept it graciously. I know I'm going to be going to a better place. I will live life with no regrets. Her faith has always been absolutely unshakable, said Grosshog, admitting that she worries. She has pain 24/7. I don't know how she does it. I would trade places with her in an instant. But that isn't an option. Those who love Catherine Youngman can only send positive energy and encouragement. As they sit on the sidelines, they are inspired. She's a beautiful person inside and out, said student April Barkhurst. She turns negatives into positives. She lights up every room. She's really inspiring, said Samantha Cross. She taught me that the toughest things can be a blessing. So that's the end of the article. Yeah, so usually on this show we don't cover we don't cover a lot of stories like this. You know, we're always about the entertainment industry and sometimes politics, and we do react videos on my channel. But this is a rare exception because this teacher has gone on to do so many great things, so many gracious things. You know, she's helped to inspire many people to go out into the world. I can't remember how many people have gone out of their way to do, you know, a foreign student exchange, you know, going to different places for months, you know, months at a time, you know. There was one in particular that went to Switzerland because of her teachings, you know. And, you know, she's a very enlightening person, and she is by far one of the strongest teachers I've ever seen. So, if you guys want to support her, on Twitter they have a hashtag YoungmanOnEllen. I've made my sign, YoungmanOnEllen. I made the new Spirit Man logo for the channel, and I have the Oregon symbol since she did come here as a student. So go on Twitter if you're on Twitter or on Facebook. Go to the hashtag YoungmanOnEllen. It's YOUNGMAN on Ellen. Try to get her on the show because I think she truly deserves it. She has battled she's battling a cancer for the 3rd time in a row, and you know, she's had so much good graces from not only staff but students and the community around her. So please go fund her on the GoFundMe campaign. I'll have the link to the GoFundMe campaign in the description of this video. If you guys enjoyed it, please make sure to send a like, comment who was your favorite teacher growing up, what is your favorite subject in school growing up, or what is your favorite school subject now if you're still in school. So, as always, peace out, Cub Scouts.